I would tell you there's a lot. I think there's a lot, but sometimes I think for me, I know it might sound corny, is when I've seen members of my team really get the recognition they deserve. Especially, sometimes you have people that might be a little bit more raw talent. And I was actually telling this story the other day. There was a young lady that came in to interview with us for an internship position. And she was just close to graduating from the University of Miami. And I left my team to interview her while I had to take another call. And when I came back, I saw her a little flustered, and then she left. And then I went back and I said to my team, what happened? It's like, well, she got flustered in one of the questions. And I said, what question did you ask? And I'm like, how did you think that question is appropriate? It's an internship. And they're like, no, but it's important to see how they think outside, quick on their feet. And I said, sorry, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to veto. I'm going to exert my veto power, and I'm selecting her as our intern. And, they're like, no, but she got nervous. I'm like, she's an introverted person, very young. And I said, and they came in, it's an internship. Let's keep that in mind. Sometimes you have to be the bigger person and give somebody a hand. And so we brought the person. She came in, did a phenomenal job. All the team members came to me and said, sorry. And this person now has stayed in the organization I was in that I hired her for and rose all the way to a VP. That intern that we almost passed on her as an intern. So I've always found my favorite moments in time in those moments of really trusting your instincts and being able to see something that maybe others don't, and you make it happen, whether it's for an individual, for a client. I had plenty of those moments where the client put a challenge in front of us and we were all looking like, how do we solve it? And we solved it. That to me is extremely exciting. I'm going to say this, and I have to talk about this because this was something that was taught to me by the mentor that I spoke to in the session. So I'm kind of stealing his things, but at the time I remember him sitting with me and telling me about it, but it was later that I really finally was able to contextualize it. And I can tell you, anybody that's ever worked for me can recite these 3 words really quickly. It's initiative, anticipation, and curiosity, right? Why are they so important? Initiative. You can wait for things to happen or you can make things happen. Taking initiative, saying, how can I contribute to my organization? I always tell my team members, especially the young ones, they kind of come into work and think it's like school. Oh, my boss gave me homework. No, I did not give you homework. I gave you an opportunity to contribute to the organization. Take the initiative to take a step back and say, why am I being asked to do this? Right? What am I trying to contribute? What are we trying to achieve with it? So that initiative is important. Anticipation. Anticipation is about thinking 10 steps ahead. It's important for a person to come in and say, you know what? I solved this problem. But if you're not thinking ahead, your solution to this problem could create a new problem. So that's where that, anticipation comes in, and curiosity. This business, the world overall, changes every second of the day, every minute, every hour, every day. If you don't have a curiosity to say, why did the NFL do that? What Major League Baseball do that? Why did they respond to it this way? And really take a time to analyze it. And I remember a big lesson on that was this mentor that I had a client, and I came into the office and he saw me and he goes, hey, what is so-and-so's stock price today? And my answer at the time was like, I don't know. I don't have stock in the company. And he's like, wrong answer. Okay, why is that a wrong answer? What do? We work in marketing, in sponsorship specifically. So what does the stock tell you? It's the health of the business, right? The optimism behind the business. So if the stock price is going down, what's going to happen? They're going to relook. They're going to relook at investments. So that's why it's important to make sure that you look at the stock price. Oh my God. I'm going to go back to old school. Steffi Graf, tennis player Steffi Graf. I admire her so much because even when she was down, she got frustrated with herself, but not enough that it prevented her from continuing to work to find a solution to win. I always remember that very famous Wimbledon where she was down. She was down and you could see her with the racket, But she was working, she wasn't blaming anybody. She wasn't blaming the umpire. She wasn't blaming the noise in the audience. She kind of said, this is happening internally. You fix it. And she kept working at it. And then she started getting her serves in, started being more aggressive, and put the other player now in defense. And then the other player was weaker mentally, and she started to crumble. That to me is something that is a very special skill. That sense of conviction and determination, and not making excuses for herself, but looking inwards to find the answer. That's why we want to go against. There's so many trends influencing sports today. But I think the digitization of sport, right? That people are looking for more snackable content, especially sports are not snackable by their very nature. There's a clock, right? Ours is 90 minutes long. An NFL game can go on, you play, 4 quarters, the NBA as well. So I think that is going to be an interesting trend, because we are all going to have to find a way to evolve the sport without changing the rules of the game, but delivering in a way that really is attractive to how fans consume it. It's not easy. I don't know if I can sit here and say, I have this all figured out and please follow me in everything that I do, but it's about finding space. It's about really being able to say, I need to find a space. And I played this video to my team the other day. It was a Simon Sinek speech. And he was talking about that there was 2 people that were wood choppers. And the wood choppers worked the same amount of hours, but one wood chopper always realized that the other was cutting more wood than he did, and he could not understand it. And when he finally confronted the other wood chopper and said, what? We're doing the same thing. We show up at 9, we leave at 5. Why is it that you have a bigger pile of wood? And he said, well, what I do is with that break, I actually go sharpen my axe, right? So I say that because taking care of yourself and having balance is a way of sharpening your axe to potentially get better. A lot of people see it as like, oh, this is time that I should be spending here. I have a longer to-do list. I should be spending my time here. But we try to say, no, spending your time here is what allows you to sharpen your axe to be better at your job.